Hey guys, welcome back to Susan Shares. It's so good to be back. I've had a couple of weeks off from social media for a whole bunch of reasons. I had a granddaughter with a birthday. I had a 40th high school reunion. I can't believe it. A son that had a concert with his band that we went to see. I've got a son running for Bentonville City Council. I have had a conference with my husband. I've just had a lot of traveling going on the last couple of weeks, but we're back. And one of the things that really hit home during my 40th high school reunion is connection. I've said it time and time again with Susan Shares that we are designed for connection. We're designed for relationship, and it is so very true. And if you've thought about calling that person, call them. If you thought about writing them, write them. If you thought about reconnecting, reconnect. It is so important not to do this life's journey alone. Because as I've said time and time again, God designed us for connection. And any way that is possible, do it. And hand in glove with that is social media. You know, they got us all together through social media. And I will self-admit, as a marriage therapist, I used to give social media a really bad rap, because as a marriage therapist, a lot of my couples met up with other people that were not their spouse on Facebook, and they would reconnect with that person and then get in trouble. And so I just kind of stayed away from social media, from Facebook and everything. And then I really began to pray about it, because I knew there was a good side to social media. And I thought, am I just being really stubborn about this, God? Is there a good side? Help me to see it. And help it not to be about me, but about you. And you know, that's when he opened the door. I said, I want to be bold in my witness. And I pray for his creativity every single day of my life. I pray for godly wisdom, godly discernment, and godly creativity. And I want you to know he opened the door for Susan Shares and Facebook. And he used he used Kelly Stamps, as a matter of fact, on my board of Tangible Truth, and said, I want you to get on Facebook. And I said, she wanted me to blog, and I said, I'll do a video blog. And Susan Shares was birthed, and God has just honored it and blessed it. I even went to this 40-year reunion, and people were saying, I listened to Susan Shares. And the next person, I said, oh, it's so good to see you. I hadn't seen you in 40 years. Well, I'm listening to your Susan Shares. And I went back to the hotel, and I just cried. I said, thank you, God. That just blesses me, because it's not about me. It's about him. It's about God. My mouth is moving, even as you see it, but it's his words. It's his message. I pray before every Susan Shares. What do you want to say? And so it's about then somebody hearing it and then sharing it and then talking about it. So it's his words, his message, and then they share it. So that's what Susan Shares is about his message through me. And so I just was so blessed by that. And so social media is not all bad. But I barely touch on Twitter or Instagram, but more on Instagram than Twitter. And I'm trying to get better on Instagram and Twitter, but using godly wisdom, and that's the message today. Do you use godly wisdom? I pray that you do. And it's a wonderful prayer to pray every day. Not the world's wisdom. They'll just give it to you just like that. But godly wisdom and godly discernment and God's creativity every single day with social media, because it can definitely be used for good. It can also be used for bad. And even as we text and email, we have to be very careful, because it's so easy to get lost in translation. As I'm looking at you and I'm smiling, you can tell what I mean, what I say. But when you're texting and you're emailing, it gets lost in interpretation very easily. So you don't know. You can assume the worst, but you don't know. But when it's eyeball to eyeball, you know my delivery. You know what I mean, because you can see it in my eyes. And so I have a friend that just the other day said, no, I got to see you to say this. And I have a friend that lives in Springdale, and I'll say, no, I got to see your eyeballs. I got to see your eyeballs. And they will drive, and we will meet halfway, because I have to have an eyeball conversation, because I don't want it to get lost in translation at all. And I don't want the assumption to be bad. I want them to see my eyeballs. And so we want to be very careful as we text or email for it to not get lost in translation. So we can get involved in social media. We can do a lot of text and email, but personal contact is so important. Do not lose relationship over social media either. So it does not, but that's my message today. Pray for godly wisdom, godly discernment, and God's creativity. I love you, and it's so good to be back. Have a great day. Bye-bye.